So they'll be calling you a radical. Blood for plutonium, blood for plutonium. I've been screaming about this for years. It's finally hit the mainstream narrative. I'm going to have to go real slow and explain, even for the anti-nuclear community and the anti-nuclear energy community that really pretty well understand nuclear. They don't get into depth all the way with the centrifuge process. And this is so much proof that they don't illuminate, they radiate. And wars are not about winning. Wars are about using humans to, it's about war profiteering. Here, I'm at the University of, I'm at the probably one of the greatest war profiteer universities in the world. Weber State. Every bit of this came from World War I, World War II blood money. And so there's big money in war. And as I've said, sugar wars, molasses wars, textile wars, cocaine cowboys, plutonium wars. I tried to tell everybody this. So even the so-called expert, the anti-nuclear community, they don't understand this in depth. And it's amazing that I do all this the world's foremost expert, and I don't get any money. I don't get shit. I don't get nothing. We're going to tilt this up. Now, hopefully nobody comes out the door. We'll be all right. Is this still going? I'm a fool to do your nuclear dirty work. Obey your nuclear master. Master, obey your nuclear master. So, why? I thought Biden was going to cripple the Russian economy, take them down. You can't even go to the liquor store and get any Russian vodka. Maybe, what about caviar? Can we get any of that? We can't get anything. It's kind of like, free Brittany Griner, but what about Mark Fogel? So this is all a fraud. It's a farce. And the Ukrainian people paying the price on Balco, on chemo. And so let's get into detail and I'll explain this. Because it's 3:11. We can't start explaining till it's too late. When's it too late? 3:11. What's that? Fukushima. Because nothing else matters. So the centrifuge process. So, all right, I'm going to go real slow, kiddies. Let's go nice and real slow for you. So, kiddies, nuclear energy is simply nothing but boiling water. Okay? We start with uranium from the earth, a natural uranium. Madame Curie, it doesn't hurt you. Here we go with the lightning, the military-industrialized complex in bed with the nuclear industry. That's not what's in a nuclear reactor. That's called uranium-238, right, kiddies? Okay. What's in a nuclear reactor? In the zirconium rods that are about this big in the bundles that go around. They make them right out here, Western Zirconium. I thought Westinghouse went bankrupt. They're global. They don't illuminate. They radiate. Uranium-235. And how do we get uranium-238 to uranium-238 natural and uranium-235 not natural? In fact, it's the most unnatural thing in the history of mankind. They centrifuge it. So why we bring that in from Russia? Billions of dollars a year. Billions, not singular, billion. Billions. Google. So I thought we were banning everything from Russia. Everything. Well, I tried to tell you. I've told you for years. The Untouchables is the nuclear energy crime syndicate. It's a global cult. Uranium on Google. Remember all that farce? So, listen. So how do they do that? So they have a centrifuge plant in Paducah, Kentucky. They have a centrifuge plant, a big one, in Ohio. Pinkton, Ohio. They centrifuge and up there in Quebec at Bruce Generating System. So the anti-nuclear movement, when it got in, people are so numb that nuclear industry really started to get nervous and worry about people starting to pay attention to this nasty centrifuge process. Is it just about cheap? No, it's more than that. It's to hide this process from the activist community so you could be fooled to think that nuclear energy is green. If they knew about the centrifuge process, nobody would think it was green. Not even the hardcore pro-nuke up this down. It's the dirtiest, nastiest, filthy process in the world. So They take the uranium-238, they put it into cylinders. And the cylinders, that leaves a giant byproduct. So it's about a between 97 and 98% byproduct. So that means, kiddies, for every bit this much you use of the uranium-238, you end up with this much. This much is byproduct, waste, toxic. So they take it, they spin it, centrifugal. They hit it with hex gas, which is a nasty, nasty concoction that they've come up with to leach the tiny, tiny, tiny bit of natural uranium-238s in it. But that isn't what we use in a nuclear reactor. It has nothing to do with nature. One spins this way, the other spins the other way. We don't split the atom, we collide the atom. So the centrifugal force is going so fast, and one goes the opposite way, and they leach it out into that outer cylinder. So it drags out the gas, that nasty toxic, leaches it out. Boom, they collide together and burst and release the most unnatural thing: plutonium, Californium, Tennessean, livermorium. I mean, I won't stop there. Some of them we don't even know what the hell they are. But plutonium, the heavy metals. Man-made. That's how it's man-made. So then, that toxic, they turn into pellets. And they put these pellets in the zirconium rods, Karen Silkwood. Stuff them in there. So people are getting onto this, so they've got to hide this process. They can't. You ever seen where they do it? You know, and then you tie into the polygon. Remember when we staged the troops? What's the polygon? I remember you can't stage the troops at the polygon. That's the Russian test say. Went off to Afghanistan to kill the Taliban. Went off to Iraq to get a big old sack. Went off to Vietnam to kill the Viet Cong. Boogeyman, boogeyman, boogeyman. They invaded ISIS. Let's make it rain all day in the Ukraine. War profiteers. So they hide it in rural Russia where no one's really paying attention because no one knows about that nasty centrifuge process. You know, so remember when the tornado hit Paducah, Kentucky, and I did all those videos and it was reported that it was full of Russian waste? Hello. Again, and you know, I did so much work for Anonymous for all those years, and everybody's like, well, how come you just went all in on Fukushima? Fukushima happened. Remember, I was the guy with Anonymous. That was it. I knew Arnold Schwartz personally. I invented the Million Mass March. I'm like, you tell everybody, because it's the top of the heap. Don't you get it? Didn't the Big Z, I'm the guy that named it, hasn't this woke you up to understand this cabal that runs the world? I hate that word Illuminati. They don't illuminate, they radiate. The top of the heap, why is the top of the heap nuclear? Which came first, the nuclear chicken or the egg? You have to use the waste from a nuclear energy reactor to make a bomb. I will. All these people that for all those years says, including, I got to quote this story. I'm at the Megan Rice trial. I knew Megan Rice personally really well. I knew her mother, Madeline Rice. That's how I met Annika from Ukraine. My partner for all those years. She died of cancer. So I'm at the potluck in Oak Ridge, Tennessee, and there's Sister Snow. In fact, in the trial, I'm holding Evelyn Tucker's hand on one side, the Yale economist who spoke at the sentencing trial, and the first ordained woman Catholic preachers on the other side. So we're at the potluck the night before. I'm like, you're probably really pissed at me. You know, because plowshares for years said, we're against the nuclear bomb, but we're okay with the technology on nuclear. And I'm like, no. They're the same. They're one and the same. You know, ICAN's one and the same. The half nukers they paraded out. She says, no, Kevin. You know, because the Megan Rice. She looked at me and he says, no, you said it straight. She looked right at me. She says, I believe you were sent by God. So, which came first, the nuclear chicken? That one and the same. So, the fact that we're banning every single word to cripple the Russian economy. Okay. Again, how long have I said it? I've been screaming this hundreds of thousands of times. The nuclear energy crime syndicate, the cult, the untouchables. They run the world. Well, you got all that free money that shovels out the Manhattan Project. By the way, Einstein did not invent nuclearism. He did not split the atom. You know, Joseph did. And Einstein was banned from the Manhattan Project. Einstein was a fierce anti-nuclear. Einstein was a Quaker, a fierce anti-nuclear energy, a fierce peace activist. He got it. I can't believe it. He's so famous, but yet you won't even tell the real story of Einstein. Was incredible. He was a genius, intuitive mind. So Joseph split the atom. When Joseph found out that Hitler didn't have it in 1944, he left the Manhattan Project. Turn it off. Quit this. This is a nightmare. You want a Nobel Prize. Back when they used to give Nobel Prizes, and Kevin Blanchard deserves about 10 of them, but I get shit. I don't get nothing. I just do all the dirty work. I get cancer. I get a... So, they opened up that spigot and they never shut it off. That is the Department of Energy in the United States. Rostom, Westinghouse, they're in bed together. They always have been. Westinghouse went bankrupt. Remember, they merged with Toshiba, took Toshiba down. What? Westinghouse was merged with... Yeah. They went bankrupt. Arriva from France went bankrupt. Remember, they were in bed with Chicago Bridge and Iron. Remember when I had to shorten all the Chicago Bridge and Iron stock? They went bankrupt. Remember the Tower of Babel, the Moxville Fairy Tale, South Carolina? It's still being built. Arriva, the French backed, who's been bankrupt so many times. So here in the United States, they opened up the Manhattan Project. They never shut it off. Then they passed a congressional act in the 1950s called the Immunity Act. What's the Immunity Act? Anything nuclear. You don't think Bill Gates knows that in Kimmel, Wyoming? You don't think NewScale knows that up there? It comes out today that Utah, which I've been the only one fighting them since 2011, got the nuclear thing. It comes out they do an internal investigation on the Department of Energy's program Utah's energy policy. All these different people were, and they do an internal audit and just rip them. And she said, hello, you won't listen to me. All they did was just dump hundreds of millions of dollars to NewScale for a fairy tale, these little SMR. When the SMR, when the DOE, the Department of Energy, which used to be the Department of Nuclear, Jeff Bezos' grandpa was the original spokesman. Look it up. Guys, his mother's father. Look it up. What? Epstein's ranch was there? You think that's a coincidence? I mean, it's unbelievable. The Department of Energy comes out at the Big Z. I'm the guy that named that reactor, the Big Z. And says, leave our technology. The United States Department of Energy comes out and says, leave our tech. What has the United States got technology at the Big Z in Ukraine? What? I've met Gorbachev twice. Gorbachev's own words. What took down the old Soviet Union? Afghanistan and Chernobyl. Kevin Blanch. What's going to take down which has already took down the United States? Really, I mean, this really not out of control. Hyperinflation, crumbling infrastructure, homeless crisis from freaking hell, poison food chain. We just shovel money in the nuclear industry. Afghanistan, Fukushima. So, if this doesn't wake Anonymous or wake everybody up, all you guys, who runs this world? They don't illuminate, they radiate. I started the Million Mass March. Why do you think it was all about Fukushima? I know what the top of the heap is. This is the greatest control mechanism in the history of mankind. So, Biden, Trump, I asked Trump from here to there on Fox News, you going to talk about Fukushima before his election, the day I got sick? At his rally. Yes. Did he? He met with the B 17 times. Did he mention it one time? So you think there's a difference between these shit show, sheep show, the Democrats and the Republicans. Oh, the herd's headed off the cliff. They just got to keep them separated. Separated the herd just a little bit. They're still headed. Well, they went off the cliff on 3/11, March 11th. Hell of a way to boil a planet, Kevin Blanch. Einstein was right. You know, the genie's going to get out of the bottle, and you're in Fukushima denial, the greatest mental illness in human history. Is Fukushima nuclear energy meltdowns denial? Billions of dollars. You know, they've been in bed the whole time. They're still in bed. It just proves you. This proxy war, they could have took out Putin. Remember, I've been doing videos about going after Putin for 20-something years. That's not a president. He's been in power since what? Remember Dirty War? Remember her? That great journalist? She was born in Brooklyn. Putin murdered her on his birthday. Remember her? She was going after it for years and years and years. We're talking clear back to 2005, 6, 7. I mean, for years. I gotta get one of those things. Those things are so cool. So, sun got in your eye, coach. Gotta go with that left here. And I don't think people get this. This is the University of Nuclear. I gotta show you this. This is important. I gotta show you this. Who's calling now? My phone's ringing off the hook asking me for people that do this. But nobody ever gives me any funding anymore. I just do all the dirty work. You know, Google hides me. So that's a science building at Weber State right there. Tracy Hall, he invented the synthetic diamond, worked for GE. My 8th grade history teacher at Walkwest Junior High. Yeah. So this is the University of Nuclear. That's the science department. This place is funded by Utah Construction. They funded, they merged with GE 1975. All this money's that money. They were the parent. They built up the nuclear industry. This university is the most pro-nuclear place in the world. Yet we don't make any nuclear energy here. New scale, new scale, new scale, new scale. So the centrifuge process, they're trying to keep it hid. If the so-called Greens knew about that process, if that plant was still active in Ohio, which it is somewhat, and in Paducah, Kentucky, and activists could protest, people could be there, people would see and understand this process is so nasty, so they hide it away in Russia. Remember Uranium One? Well, this, like I said, I call it Uranium One Google. Both parties are in on it. This is where all the power is. Putin, Trump, Biden, there. I mean, the uranium cartel, it's a club. It's a club. And if this hasn't proved to you that this is a club, then I don't know what does. Again, I started the Million Mass March. We had 7 million people that day. You know, it was all based on the Fukushima disaster. There he is. So, he's from Persia. Yeah, good guy. So, like I said, if this doesn't wake you up, I mean, how long must I sing this song? Sugar wars, molasses wars, textile wars, cocaine cowboys. It's disgusting. Blood for oil, Bush, Cheney. I thought Obama was going to end that. He escalated it. He accelerated it. You know, Biden. Blood for plutonium. It's disgusting. Stay tuned.